When you truly become a lighthouse in your industry, all the boats lost at sea, they're looking for that lighthouse and they come to you. There's no need for a sales team. Hey guys, I'm Jack Wendt. I'm the founder and visionary at High Rise Influence, which would not be possible without my partner here, Dennis Yu. Thank you so much, Dennis.
Pleasure to be here, Mr. Jack.
Really appreciate all the wisdom that you've contributed and the level of authority that I gained from just being tangentially related to you, let alone being a partner. So thank you, Dennis.
I'm just your tech support. I make good people like Jack look even better.
He's too humble, too humble. Anyways, guys, we are here today to talk about everything that High Rise Influence does, what we stand for, why I created High Rise Influence, and who we serve. So this journey began right actually when I graduated from my military training. So I'm still in the Army National Guard and I love it. It was about 8 months of training. And as soon as I got done with that, I called up Caleb Williams, amazing guy, faith-based. I mean, seriously, you guys should look up what he does. I could not have done it without him as well. I have all these wonderful mentors that have been able to contribute to this vision that we now call High Rise Influence. At that time, it was just an idea. It wasn't a name. It was this fugazi that we wrangled up and have turned it into this powerful business, and we'll continue to amplify it. Anyways, I called up Caleb Williams and he said, I said, Caleb, I'm about to get out of training. Is there any positions at BetterWealth? I love what you guys are doing. I've been following you guys and even doing a little bit internship and understanding your brand and what you guys do. I would really love to come be a part down in Nashville. It's like, well, Jack, can you be down here in 3 days? I got a few conferences that we got to do. And I'm like, well, I graduated 2 days. So I flew back to Minnesota where I was from. I was in Minnesota for about 3 hours and then flew down to Nashville after being gone for 8 months. My grandma wanted to kill me. She was not very happy. But this trip was amazing, life-changing. Over those 10 days, we flew down to Florida and I got to see Caleb speak and got to see him impact lives in a real powerful way. And that was a real eye-opener for me. I never really thought of it from the speaker's perspective, how rewarding that feeling can be. And I'm sure you have felt it many times, Dennis, of giving back. And I was able to see that. And I was like, maybe there's a formula for this. So that was kind of what first got the wheels turning. Over these 10 days, I actually also met Dennis, which was huge. We went downtown Nashville, super nice steakhouse. It was like 30-foot windows and it was snowing like crazy. Do you remember that?
It was amazing. I remember that.
Great steaks, great company, and the snow was beautiful. So it was very memorable. We recorded our first 1-minute video that night as well.
That's right.
Which was pretty cool. And so as I started with BetterWealth, me and Caleb, we really delved into what are my strengths, what are my passions, what does BetterWealth need? And we landed on strategic partnerships. And so my job was to book Caleb on podcasts and speaking engagements. And then from those speaking engagements, he would create partnerships. Or maybe it was an affiliate program that we would generate a bunch of clients from. And so then I kind of got into, okay, strategy is really what I enjoy. And I always have from a very young age. But now I get to use it in a way that benefits myself and benefits people that I care about and people that I don't even know yet, which is really amazing. You're able to contribute to this world in a way that's bigger than yourself. And I was in love with that idea.
You're a power connector.
I was in love with that idea. And I got to meet some amazing people through that. I met the founder of Skechers. I still wear to this day. He gave me like 4 pairs of shoes, gave me a book signed that his grandson gifted to him. I'm reading it right now. It was amazing. And all these other crazy cool connections and crazy cool stories. And I was like, this is where I want to be. This is, why I believe I was put on this earth. This is where my giftings line up. This is where my passions line up. And this is where I'm meant to be. And so then as I graduated and continued to climb the ladder in BetterWealth, I became the head of relations development, which was a super exciting role. And the strategic partnerships was still a huge part of that, landing big clients or partnerships for Caleb. And I was able to not only build my influence and build my authority through that, I build Caleb's at a huge level. And it was really cool to see that I was 18 years old, just gotten out of military training, hadn't gone to school, all the don'ts, right? All the boxes that you had to check.
Yeah.
I didn't check them.
Yeah.
But I was still able to impact Caleb and build his brand and impact the people around him and our team in a really cool way. And so I just fell in love with this idea. And as I started to progress, Caleb's like, you know what, Jack, why don't you just go out and build your own thing? Why don't you just go build your own thing? Like, we love you, but you have some skills that I see a lot of myself in you at the point where I started BetterWealth, and I would love to see you build something.
Yeah.
And so that discussion took hold. I did some apprenticeship under the Chris Crone team, so I was able to work on his brand. And he's very, very influential, which was cool to be able to work with some big players. We had clients who were billionaires and fly us out on their jet for a dinner at their ranch.
Pretty
and
cool.
Fly us back.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And that was kind of where the ideas of like the high rise apartment, high rise influence.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that look like?
Yeah.
What does a powerful brand look like?
Yeah.
What does a luxury message look like? And that's kind of where the wheels started turning with that. And then a few months ago, I think it's 6 or 7 now, in November, I decided to conclude my time at BetterWealth and move on to high rise influence. And it was born. We did all the paperwork. It's official. It was official. And now, since then, I've been able to work on brands outside of BetterWealth, outside of the Chris Crone team, and been able to make impacts for them, their audience, and their teams, and their families at the end of the day. There is so much value in influence and authority that it will have residual benefits for all the people around you.
Yeah.
If it's done properly.
Yeah.
If it's authentic messaging and authentic branding and who you really are, it will be this amazing trickle-down effect of reward.
I've been watching this from afar for a while, and I see high-rise influence as fitting this hole that isn't satisfied by PR or social media or SEO or reputation management or video production. There's a lot of different services that successful entrepreneurs may buy trying to scratch this itch of building their influence and their brand and their credibility. And what Jack and I put together is 4 businesses that are actually successful, but it's not been reflected into the world of digital, into LinkedIn and the website and social media and all that. We can collect the relationships, the experience, the reputation, the things your clients have to say, put that together and push it out across all these channels. So it's not PR, social media, or SEO, or Facebook ads, or LinkedIn marketing, but for successful entrepreneurs that know that there's something more nuanced about their relationships than just hiring these other random people, because they really prize and treasure their relationships, and it requires an elegant touch. This is something that you might want to look into, because what we see is that there are successful entrepreneurs. They've done great things with their business, just like Brian, who we had basically lunch with this afternoon, built a great business to 190 locations, but he never worked on his brand and his reputation, which then attracts other franchisees. Or tomorrow, the orthopedic surgeon, fantastic orthopedic surgeon, great reputation, really takes care of his patients, but never really extended that experience to be visible, to be able to attract more of the same thing. So when you look at the framework of high-rise influence, what Jack is saying is, let's assemble the blueprint, the structure of your brand, your relationships, your expertise, your knowledge, your experiences, and then build that's the high-rise influence, into something that helps scale your business so that your reputation precedes you when someone Googles you, when someone wants to do a business deal with you.
Yeah, and I think one of the most common things I'm asked or misconceptions is, okay, now I have to build out a whole marketing team. I have to have a media team and build that. I have to be posting on social every day. It's not that at all.
No.
What high-rise does is it leverages what you've already built, what you're already doing in your practice, whatever that might be. I'm just the strategic influence architect. I'm going to build that high rise for you. So you have influence that lasts many years, outlasts the competition, and sprawls way above it, right? It's this image of the skyline, and you're the Empire State Building above all your competition. That's the vision behind of high rise influence. And we do all of that by leveraging what you've already done. For example, tomorrow we're going to be meeting with an orthopedic surgeon, 25 years in the practice, amazing human being. And everything that he has, what his clients say about him is amazing, but it's not documented anywhere. And so we are going to use those client testimonials, and we're going to use actual experience, him talking about his experience. What does he do? Why does he love it? Why does he really do it?
Yeah.
Because the reason that he really does it is because he loves helping patients. It's not because he loves cutting flesh and putting new sockets in. I'm sure he finds passion in that, but he really does love helping patients. And that's why he's been able to go through all these rigorous years of training and residency. It's because that's what drove him. And so all what we're going to do is highlight that, amplify and leverage it, and then be able to add actual influence and digital presence to all that value that we're going to create from things that are already there that he's already doing. It's not this big extra marketing campaign or this crazy media takeover. Right? It's just leveraging what you've already built and what you're already doing.
We find that a lot of people who have expertise, they have somewhere, could have been years ago, YouTube videos, podcasts, speaking, articles that they've written, other things they were quoted in the media. We want to take those existing items and then find strategically what those gaps are, where maybe you haven't told your story as powerfully or as currently as it needs to be told. And then we might come in one session and knock all of that out. This is not like, oh, we need to produce 3 videos every week for the rest of your life because we're trying to, be a video production company or a social media company by
there's already too many of those.
Measuring by how many pieces of content we're trying to produce. That's not what we're trying to do. It's not how many followers, it's how many YouTube views. It's not vanity. It's about taking and structuring that experience, because you as a service provider, author, speaker, coach, expert, someone who has experience in a particular field and a network to back that up. How do we make that visible? The structure of your experiences and what you have done and your products and services can then be put into centralized into your website, your social media presences, your personal brand. Maybe you have a co-founder and some other executives. All of those feed the company, right? Your company's brand, your company's SEO, the ability for your company's marketing campaigns to convert is ultimately based on the reputation gap that your company has, which comes from the personal brands and credibility of you and the other people on your team. So all we're trying to do is fill in those gaps, and then we can measurably show what the impact is on your marketing over time.
Amazing. I'm glad that you brought that up, Dennis. And I'd love to go over how we build that out and the products we have in order to establish business leaders as lighthouses in their industry. The way that we do that is we use influence, right? Because there's people who you Google them and nothing comes up, right?
Right.
But maybe they're these big power players in their industry. Essentially what a lighthouse is, and what we help founders and business leaders and entrepreneurs to become lighthouses in their organization and their space, is we leverage existing influence and we turn those into digital resources. And so one of the products that we have to help us do this is called the Blueprint. This is your personal brand website that we develop, and you can put, you have your blog on there, and you have about yourself and different references of what you've done. And it's pretty much like a LinkedIn page on steroids, right? And it's on the web. So Google can see that, the AI can see it and learn from it. And what we do, we post powerful blogs to your blog, or you have access to it as well. And we're able to link from your company website or powerful websites that we own. And the way that this works, one of the biggest things that this does is it helps you to build a knowledge panel. And so when you Google your name, if you Google any president or any celebrity like Obama, right when you Google Obama, there's going to be a knowledge panel that pops up. And it has information and pictures of Obama, what he's done, different policies from his presidency, things like that. And we want to build that for our lighthouses and our communities. So then when your clients or your partners or even opponents or competitors Google you, you pop up. And that is such a convincing level of authority.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really influence in a bottle. And we've shown that to be so powerful for Dennis and our partners and people that I've worked on their personal brand before. It's been really great. And the way that it works is eventually, if you're posting enough things and people are posting things about you, a knowledge panel will pop up.
Yeah.
But we have tools to be able to trigger those knowledge panels earlier, be able to tap into them. And then Google is essentially building a basket. That basket is your personal brand. And eventually that basket's going to get full enough with resources that it'll create your knowledge panel. But when you have a name, like let's say Dennis Yu, there's a lot of Dennis Yus out there.
There's a lot. It's a common name.
It's harder to compete on a name like that. That basket has a lot of holes in it. So things fall through the cracks, right? When there's different names, or maybe you're not linking correctly, maybe your things just don't really connect online in the way that they should. Mm-hmm. And that's where this personal brand ties that basket together, and it catches all the leaks. And we're able to build that knowledge panel far before it would naturally trigger through Google. It's a very cool process.
Yeah. So in terms of this basket, like your name, a basket for your company's name, a basket for your products and services, each of these objects from a technical standpoint is inside Google's big database, which is called a knowledge graph. And every one of those objects, the way they're connected, has things that are called citations. Mm-hmm. And citations are all the pieces of information you structure around who is Jack Wendt, who is Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is the founder of BetterWealth. What is BetterWealth associated with? This big database, this big molecule of all these atoms that are connected together. And we query Google's Knowledge Graph API, and it tells us what the confidence score is for each of these objects and how these objects are connected to each other. So if we map out you as an entrepreneur, we ask Google, okay, John Smith, what is John Smith known for? What has he done? Who is he associated with? What company is he with? And then we look at your company and we see, is your company connected properly to who you are? Or is it just on your company about where it says, oh, John Smith founded this company? Do your social medias all connect back to you as a person, to your personal social medias, which we would just create if you don't have? Does your company have all these different social medias? And are they consistent between them? And when everything is consistent in this architecture, then it sends a signal to Google like, yes, this is trustworthy. All these sources corroborate each other. And there's all kinds of technical tools that we use to try to make sure that Google is certain about this information and it's factually strong and what's called notable. And that's how, from an engineer standpoint, you're able to get a knowledge panel. Even if another celebrity has that same name, even if you don't have a lot of information that's on the web or social media, Wikipedia or Crunchbase or Reddit, YouTube, you don't have to be on social media. You don't have to be on Instagram and TikTok and all that. But when we've assembled the structure of your personal brand, the relationships and experiences and companies and partnerships you're connected to, that's the blueprint. It's not some esoteric, be famous kind. It's a very structured, measurable framework. Then when we push that out across the foundation of all these different assets, the proof is when we Google your name, when we Google your company's name, when we ask ChatGPT, who is Jack Wendt? When we go to TikTok and ask, best orthopedic surgeon in Minneapolis, then we want to win in those competitions. Every one of those searches is a competition. And when you have strategic influence, no matter where people are looking, it's like asking a friend for a recommendation. We want you, as Jack said, to be the lighthouse, meaning you are the trusted source in your industry. But in order to do that, we have to set the blueprint. And then to set the blueprint, we need the necessary ingredients.
Exactly.
So we're like the cooks in the kitchen, or the architects, or whatever analogy you want to use, building the skyscrapers, but you have to give us the steel.
Absolutely.
Right? You have to give us the wood and building, glass and all the things that are necessary to build the skyscraper.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that brings us to our second product, the Penthouse, which this is our top tier product. And this is where I am implementing to a 10th degree for you to establish yourself as a lighthouse in your community, in your platform, in your space, in your practice. And the way that I do this, the best way that I describe this, it's much like what I was doing with Caleb Williams and the Chris Crone team, is Trump and Kamala, love them or hate them, they had these campaign managers this last election run. Yeah. They had these people in their corner telling them, hey, strategically, this is going to be the best bang for your buck. We want you on this podcast. We want you to have a rally in this state. You're going to speak on this stage. We're going to have a fundraiser here, right? And they're the ones that are taking in all the data, everything that you have, and finding, okay, what's the most strategic way to tap into our audience? Yeah. How are we going to get the most amount of results from where I'm putting you? Because they have a finite amount of time the same way you do. And my job is to protect that time. But not just protect that time, leverage that time to amplify the highest amount of results you can get. And the way that I do that is much like those campaign managers. I'm strategically placing you on podcast, speaking engagements, different maybe YouTube videos or blogs, articles that you write that we write for you, and then you put your creative touches on, and we post to websites with we have access to a multitude of websites with super high domain ratings and a bunch of authority on the web. And we're able to manage your campaign, so to speak, and build your influence, whether it's from the ground up or that's established already, and to amplify what you already have in a very powerful way.
So as a real example, you can Google Caleb Williams and you'll see all those colored boxes that pop up. That's his knowledge panel. Before working with us, he didn't have a knowledge panel. Now, he did have a podcast and he's interviewed hundreds of guests. He does have a best-selling book. He has spoken at a lot of conferences. But I said was, Caleb, these items aren't all structured and connected together the right way. So we structured those things together. His knowledge panel, a small knowledge panel, partial knowledge panel, that's usually what happens first. You don't get a full knowledge panel right away. We structured everything until he got a full knowledge panel because Google trusted the connections between the other companies, the organizations that he spoke at, the clients that he's worked with, the other podcasts he's been on, the other people that have interviewed him on his podcast. And as that connects across Instagram and YouTube and Twitter and the website and all that, when we have massive corroborating loops of evidence, then Google, just like Facebook and YouTube, say, yep, this is Caleb Williams. These different pockets of influence that were scattered all over the place, we're connecting them together into the one big basket like you're using.
The Google Knowledge Panel is essentially the Instagram or Twitter blue check before it was these pay subscriptions to get that. And I would argue that it's even a step higher.
It's more valuable,
especially in the business world. Yeah. Because Dennis, we had a meeting with a guy who, since 2018, he has launched 190 franchises of his smoothie shop, of his acai bowl shop. And what did we do right before we left? We Googled him. Yep. We wanted to see the evidence. Okay, what's going on in his life? What's going on in his business? What's the most we can learn about him? Like, is this guy, who's he connected with? Do we have, and I had a mutual connection that I found through it, which was a huge turning point in the conversation, just so he knew what I was about.
Immediate trust of a mutual friend. Yeah.
Exactly. And that was super powerful, but he didn't have a super crazy web presence. We had to dig. Yeah. Right?
And there's all kinds of random stuff that came up from years ago, or stuff that doesn't want to show up. And because he was so busy working on his business, no one was looking out for his personal brand or even the brand of him as the franchisor and the company, because he was so busy working on the franchisees and the day-to-day and legal and marketing and operations and this kind of stuff. So this is the thing that we're talking about that falls in the cracks. That's not PR. It's not SEO. It's not social media. It's not make you famous influencer marketing. It's something that's more powerful, which is about reputation. And now, well, depending on when you're watching this, if you Google Brian Amundsen, my hope is you'll see a full knowledge panel. Just like if you Google me, Google Jack, Google Caleb Williams, everything. And it's not because we're trying to build a personal brand website. It's not because our sole goal is to build a knowledge panel.
Mm-hmm.
It's because when the knowledge panel's in place, that's our signal that Google's telling us everything's connected together.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once we get it, we always want to make it better. So maybe we work with you and we find, we have most of the information, so we're able to trigger a partial knowledge panel,
Mm-hmm.
but then we can take all those existing ingredients and then we can turn it into a book and put it on my site, my free ebook site, which is the #1 free ebook site on the internet with 500,000 visitors a day. And other sites, we have some advantages, okay, that can help.
We have some cheat codes.
Of course. I mean, all you got to do is like Google me or Jack, and you can see the assets that we're using. We don't sell links. That would get us in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But we happen to manage a number of high-powered properties, right? And so all of this sends trust signals into you, which is SEO is basically this big link voting game.
Mm-hmm.
So we're able to control the voting game in a non-manipulative kind of way, in a legitimate
Absolutely.
way that our friends at Google and YouTube and whatnot say it's okay.
And that's our goal too. And I'm very thankful for this lesson, but very early into my career, and this was outside of BetterWealth. Caleb is amazing. But I was apprenticeshipping for a team, and we ran this absolutely huge conference down in Miami. It was 3 days, and they spent $5 million on this conference. We had some of the biggest names in the industry. I mean, name an influencer, financial influencer. They were there. They were speaking. I got to speak to them.
Yeah.
And we're on yachts with the owner of the Yankees and all this crazy stuff. And they rented out a club with Rick Ross and Marshmello performed. It was insane. And I got to meet all those guys, and it was really cool. But then I was meeting with the CEO of the company and the event coordinator. It was just me and them after this $5 million conference, and I had dinner with them. It was like, why are you having dinner with me? But it was super fun. But at this time, they explained to me that it was very strategic that they rented out this club. Very strategic. I don't know if I've even told you this, Dennis.
No, tell me.
So their goal was to rent out this club and have an open bar, so people would let loose Saturday night. People are having fun, drink a little bit too much. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's enough to make them feel guilty. Or maybe they took it a step farther and they're flirting with someone that isn't their partner, or maybe they go back to the hotel with someone that isn't their partner. And you know what they had the next morning, Sunday? The first 2 hours of the conference was a pastor.
The big guilt trip.
And so their goal was to make everyone feel as guilty as possible about the night they'd had before and to repent for their sins. It was this strategic ploy. And then after that pastor got off stage, they had a great lunch and no drinks, obviously, at this lunch.
Yeah.
And then they had each of the speakers go in and close and really hammer it down. And they sold millions and millions. Like they probably 3x ROI'd in that day. And it was so manipulative and borderline evil, I would say. It left this pit in my stomach. And it motivated me to never want to be like that.
Yeah.
Never want to have to manipulate people to get ahead in life. I think it's so much more rewarding, and you can get a lot farther by helping people create value in their lives, and then you extracting from that value in the way that you promised. How we get ahead in this society that we live in is by helping to other people, create value for other people, and then you extract some of that value.
Yeah.
And that's how you create value for yourself. But they weren't doing that. And it left a pit in my stomach, and it motivated me. It set a fire under me to help people and never be that.
But when you build reputation the right way, it occurs over the long run. It's not, run to the back of the room and sign up now for this offer. Everyone close the doors and pull out your credit cards.
Yeah.
I get all of us need to make money, but like Jack says, if you've got great reputation, you never need to do things that are icky, because your selling is not through these tactics to make people feel guilty, but through your existing community, through your client base, through the other people that are mutual friends that have done business with you. And if that's the way you do business, then high-rise influence may have a strategy that you should consider more carefully. If you're all about trying to get the sale now through whatever techniques and using pressure sales to close, high-rise influence is not for you.
No.
If you're trying to become famous right away, if you do not have expertise and the trust of a customer base that's willing to leave good reviews and say good things about you, high-rise influence is not for you because we need those ingredients. Now, if they're not visible on the web, but we can still collect them and you have the permission of people that you work with that will say great things about you, that's the situation that we want.
We help to amplify great people and great stories to a level beyond what they're at already.
So we're not going to take on anyone because when you come into our network, you are getting our connections.
Mm-hmm.
You are getting the value of our properties that are linking to you, our people in our network. I'm sure you've got a great network as well, but I'm sure you look up Jack or me on LinkedIn, you'll see how many mutual friends we have with you. So it's more important to us by far to work with people we like, that we know it's going to be a great relationship. Then, you know what, we could maybe work with this guy, he's got a lot of money. We don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, with a name like High Rise Influence, we have to practice what we preach.
Exactly. And one thing I want to share too, if you're not quite there yet, we offer a premium service at a premium price. If you're not quite there, we practice what we preach and we post everything that we do, our philosophies, the 4-stage content factory. All these things are online.
Yeah.
And they have been. It's full transparency. Everything that we do, all the Zooms that we have, they're posted online. They're repurposed. They're turned into articles. Or you can find them on the web, on my website, on Dennis's website. If you just simply search up our names, it's all out there. So if you're not quite there yet to do it with High Rise Influence, you can easily do and follow our philosophies for yourself.
Yeah, and we believe that there's no secret. Anyone that's trying to sell a secret of influence or SEO or going viral is probably trying to fool you in some particular way.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine that, you're going to a heart surgeon. The heart surgeon's not going to say, I got a secret technique for heart surgery.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that knows how to do this. Or we're
getting running out of that a lot.
Yeah. Or, I'm going on a plane to fly to Paris tomorrow, but it's a secret on how you fly a 777.
Yeah.
No, if you're good at what you do, then you publish that. And we also expect you to embrace that. If you believe that the way you do things is this trade secret, we're probably not for you.
Yeah, and one thing I want to build on here, Dennis, is you talk about this secret, and we believe there's no secret. And if you actually look at our philosophies and our techniques, they're derived precisely from Google's resources.
Yeah,
and what Google says
link
about
it back.
SEO.
You can see where it came from. It's not because Jack or I made something up. You can trace it all the way back, for example, to Google's 177-page quality rater guideline document they publish every single year. We look at that document every year. Mm-hmm. We look at Facebook's community guidelines. We looked at LinkedIn's community standards. We looked at the code that's in Grok, which governs how Twitter does. Mm-hmm. We understand what the algorithms are saying, and we are personal friends with the engineers that have built this. So
Dennis was one of them.
Well, I know, 25 years ago. But what's important is that if you have the raw ingredients, it's not, yes, if any of you guys are technical, happy to have a discussion about the finer points of exactly, how the newsfeed algorithm works on Facebook or stuff like that. But it's literally this simple. If you have a great reputation, you have the stories, you have the relationships, things, you're showing how you solve particular problems. If we structure this in the right way, Google schema, building the website the right way, connecting the socials, all that technical stuff, the algorithm sees that. It starts showing it to people that are similar to people in your network. Mm-hmm. And then the signal, meaning the engagement of the people that see that content, if that engagement is high, then the algorithm, meaning LinkedIn's newsfeed or Facebook or YouTube, will show it to more people that are like the people that stay and watch the video for longer.
Absolutely.
That engage more, that like, that share, that comment, that take some kind of action. It's not a secret, but a lot of people didn't realize that Google's main algorithm is actually driven by Chrome clickstream data, by what people are actually doing in
Absolutely.
Chrome. We've known that all along because we've always believed in reputation. So if you believe that your reputation is the most important thing, even if sometimes you have to lose money, you have to refund the client sometimes, or you have to discipline a bad employee, or things happen, right? It's in business. If you believe that it's necessary to protect your reputation and that people buy from you because of your reputation, not because you're trying to run a sale or be the cheapest game in town, and you're not trying to hard pressure people into buying because you know that you are preeminent and you're the best in your industry or in your town, then we are on the same ethos.
And when we establish you by leveraging your influence into digital presence and building a lighthouse of yourself, there's no need for selling. Right. It's like a patient walking into the ER. Does a doctor say, hey, we got these 5 surgeries, buy one, get one free?
That's right. Half off on liver surgery today.
Yeah, I haven't heard of surgery of the week or surgery
you buy
of the
now,
day.
It's half off.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
by 5 p.m., we only have 3 surgeries left.
When you truly become a lighthouse in your industry, all the boats lost at sea, they're looking for that lighthouse and they come to you. There's no need for a sales team.
Right.
There's no need for excessive marketing, any crazy thing. Even though marketing is one thing that we are also experts in, is digital marketing, and Dennis's $1 a day program that we've helped to optimize over these last few years. So amazing.
Well, think about this. So the idea, if you structure the trust and credibility you have from all these different places, and you glue it together in the right way, not glue, but structure it together, proper foundation, concrete pouring, all steel girders, right? And you build that structure up, and you demonstrate that you have relationships and experience, and you are good, you're the best at what you say you do. And there's lots of proof around that. That's the skyscraper structure. Then the idea of $1 a day, which is the 4th stage in the 4-stage content factory, is we amplify that. So if we look at Caleb Williams, we look at all the podcasts he's ever done. We look at all the marketing campaigns he's ever done. Look at all the people in his network. Look at any piece of content he's ever produced anywhere. What we find when we filter through that is there's 2 or 3 pieces of content that have driven him the most leads. One is a video talking about Dave Ramsey and Infinite Life. And that's what drives more leads into infinite banking and then the overfunded life insurance policies, the whole life insurance policies that he sells. Another thing is when he's on podcasts of other people that are interviewing him on his book. If those ones we find, looking at the pattern, are the ones that are doing the best, what do? We repurpose that, meaning we share that episode. Maybe it's on YouTube. Then we share it to Facebook, to LinkedIn. We put it on the website. We run it through ChatGPT to create a derivative article based on that. We run $1 a day ads against it, right? Boosting it on YouTube or Facebook. It's how do you get more out of existing winning assets? I do that with myself. We'll do that with you. We'll do that with all these other clients. Is when there's more content and it's distributed and structured properly, and we put it out there and we let the data tell us what's working, then the things that drive the most traffic to the website, that drive the most leads, that drive the most referrals, that drive the most whatever's measurable, the idea of strategic influence is put more on those, put more money on the winners. It's literally that simple. If that resonates with you and you're like a math, logical kind of person, I think you're really going to like the framework that we have. If you want to book a call with Jack or myself or another team member, you can, but I would invite you first to check out our playbook to see exactly how we operate, because we want you to see that. There's a lot of people like, I can do this myself and these guys are too expensive. We want you to see that.
Absolutely.
Because then you're going to say, dang, I didn't realize these guys do it this way. Then they use this tool and then they do that. And I didn't realize there was another tool that does this. And you'll have a greater appreciation. Now, a lot of people, the best clients just say, you know what? I don't even need to see all that. I just want to hire you guys, right? I'm already ready to go. I don't want to hear all the details of exactly how you built the house. I want the house.
Yep, amazing. Yeah, I think we pretty much got it all out there. I'm pretty excited with. I'm sure as you guys can see, Dennis and I's passion shine through this. I mean, this is really a vision come to life, and I could not be more excited about it, as well as Dennis is.
Yeah.